Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All gurus is Srimad Bhagavatam and Guru Maharaj. I'll offer brief prayers and we can start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So I'll share my screen also. Is my audio okay, audible only, or should I use my headset? I can use headset if needed also. You can see, anyone can confirm if my audio is okay. You can hear me okay, or should I use headset?
We can hear properly, Prabhuji.
Properly? Okay, perfect. Thank you. You can see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I'll do is I will refer to this our BBT Bhagavatam, but then at least for the first chapter I looked at the Vishwanath Chakravarti commentary also, Sarada Dasani, but other chapters I could not look at the Vishwanath Chakravarti commentary, but I noted the points and purports. So I'll be referring to those and especially referring to my book also here, where I underlined some points in the purport so that we can discuss. It's a wonderful Krishna Katha, these 4 chapters. Obviously, we have limited time, so we will be giving a summary overview, but I wanted to highlight the points. So my objective is 2 things. Objectives are 2 things with the summary. One is you get the overall storyline with some details. That's first objective. Second objective is you get the we all get this discuss some of the lessons that are coming from the purports and some of the insights that are coming from purports, especially because these purports are written by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. They took it from Acharya's commentaries. Some of them are nice insights that are coming in the purports. That also will share. So overall, ultimately, because this is Srimad Bhagavatam, reading our Acharya's commentaries itself is purifying for us, and whatever little time we can spend today together, it will be wonderful. It's beneficial for you and beneficial for me also, all of us. So we'll start with the first chapter here. First chapter for today is Krishna rescuing his teacher's son. So we know the previous chapter, just to give context, of course, 10th canto itself is like the face of Krishna. When whole Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to different limbs of Krishna like that. So in the 10th canto, there are several pastimes, especially in the beginning, that happen in Vrindavan pastimes. And then later, after that, the pastimes switched to Madhura, where Krishna went there around 11 years of age, approximately. Then after, so Vrindavan pastimes, Madhura pastimes, and then comes Dwaraka pastimes. So in the last few chapters, we already crossed the Vrindavan pastimes. Now we came to Madhura pastimes. So slowly going towards Dwaraka pastimes. So basically, in this particular, just before this chapter, we've seen how, first of all, Krishna was brought by Akrura from Vrindavan to Madhura. And then so many things, he killed so many demons. And then he finally killed Kamsa and his brothers. Chanura Mustukar also killed, like that. And then finally, he installs King Ugrasena as the king for the kingdom. He doesn't take his kingdom. That also we'll see actually coming up now. In this chapter, we'll see, like the summary is saying here, we'll see Krishna is consoling Devaki and Vasudeva first, and then also Nanda Maharaj he consoles, and then installs King Ugrasena as the king. And then after that, they get their initiation or Upanayana ceremony, and then they go to Gurukul and then learn, please the Guru and learn Vedas, Upanishads from Guru, and then finally come back to Madura. That is the overall pastime. Basically, Krishna Balaram pacifying their fathers, and then um, Krishna installing Ugrasena as king, and then Krishna's pastimes in Gurukul, like that. Those are three main areas basically. Now, going through, let's go through the first verse. So now, Sukadeva Goswami is starting, saying that what has happened here so far? Krishna killed big demon, Kamsa. Krishna killed all those Chanana Mustika, like that. Now, Vasudeva and Devaki heard all these things, even though they're in prison right now. Then, obviously, they felt, wow, Krishna is so great. He's killing so many people. They are filled with that awe and reverence for Krishna, not the Vatsalya feeling of love and affection for Krishna. So now, because of this recent incidents, that's why what is Krishna is doing? Krishna is employing his Yogamaya potency or his internal potency so that they can love him as his dear child only. Because Krishna wants to enjoy that ecstatic love of Vatsalya Rasa with his parents. That's why he employs his Yogamaya, so they don't get enamored by Krishna's greatness. Remember, in Krishna's, one of the great sweet qualities of Krishna is Krishna's sweetness is experienced in different kinds of rasas with him. One such rasa is Vatsalya Rasa. So that's why he doesn't want them to go into, oh, Krishna is so great, oh, let me offer obeisances, like that mood. That's why with the Yogamaya, he handles the situation such a way that he can still enjoy the Vatsalya Rasa with his parents. That's what is being discussed in this verse. Going further, so Krishna, after doing that, Krishna along with Balaram. So most of these chapters, Krishna and Balaram are together in Madhura pastimes. So Krishna and Balaram went together. They humbly offered obeisances to their parents. And then, interestingly, they gratified their parents. They gave pleasure to their parents. By what? By respectfully addressing them as what? My dear mother, my dear father, like that. Remember, you might know, have this experience as parents. We want our children to first time when they're calling Amma, Nana, in our language at least, Ma, Pitaji, whatever, different languages, like that. Then it's so sweet for parents to listen. Similarly, even relatives love to hear their children call them by their relationship, like that. So that's what Krishna is giving pleasure by calling them like that. So 2 points we can see here. One is Krishna is showing by the example of how we should be humble before our parents because they gave us birth. Krishna will speak a lot in gratitude to parents in coming verses also, we'll see. That is one thing we're saying. So even we should offer obeisances to our parents. We offer obeisances to spiritual master, saintly great devotees. We should offer our obeisances to our parents also. So like that, then in fact, when our children see our example, then they may follow. But otherwise, we should not expect our children to respect us a lot, but we don't respect our parents, not like that. So that's one aspect here, nicely we can hear. And then in the text 3, he's saying, Krishna is saying, dear father, because of us means Krishna and Balram, he says, speaking on behalf of Balram, you both, Vasudeva and Devaki, always remained in anxiety and could never enjoy your childhood, boyhood, or youth. So these terms, you might have heard these terms. Kaumara is a childhood, very young age, normally till 5 years age. But then Pauganda, which is boyhood, normally till 10 years age. And then Kaishora, which is till 15 years age, that means 10 to 15 category. And Yauvana is after 15 years age. So, in this purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary is saying, one may object that Krishna has not actually passed the Kaishora stage, which is age 10 to 15. Why? Because Krishna was only 11 years age. So he didn't pass that Kaishora stage yet. So how come they're saying he's already gone? How come that youth or Kaishora age is being referred like that? That is saying you could not enjoy my Kaishora age yet fully like that. So that's what is being explained by commentary. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, in the purport, explains one simple principle to follow. For example, one of the prince of a king, sometimes they grow very rapidly compared to ordinary people. So similarly, Krishna, very young age itself, he exhibited his growth was very, very fast, for Krishna, including Balram also. So in the analysis, he describes how Vishnu Chakravarti describes when it's 3 years and 4 months old, that time Krishna was in Mahavana, that was equivalent to 5 years of age, like for an ordinary child. There is a Kamara age. That means his Kamara age finished at 3 years, 4 months like that. That time he was in Mahavana. Similarly, his Pauganda age finished at 6 years, 8 months. Normally it finishes at 10 years. During that time he lived in Vrindavana. And then similarly, his Kaushara age, which normally finishes at 15 years, it actually finished in 10 years at Nandagrama, he describes. So consider Kaisara stage. See, through his 10th year, during which time he lived in Nandagrama. That is his Kaishwara stage like that. So that's what Vishwanath Chakravarti commentary is describing the purport for us. Essentially, point is that Krishna is saying that, my dear parents, you could not enjoy our younger childhood pastimes. So why? He says that. Next verse is saying, because first of all he's saying, deprived by fate, we could not live with you and enjoy the pampered happiness. Most children enjoying their parents all. That means saying, myself, Krishna and Balram could not enjoy the happiness that parents give, number one. Now, in the next verse he says, with one's body, one can conquer all goals of life. So, my dear parents, you gave us this body, birth and sustenance. So, no mortal man can repay his debt to his parents, even if he serves them for full lifetime of 100 years, like that is saying. So, basically, here is expressing that we were not able to follow the religious principles of satisfying our parents, like that is describing this in this particular thing. Yeah. So now going to 6th verse is saying, a son, interestingly, a couple of times you can note this point. Even though I'm capable, I'm able to help my parents, I'm able to support my parents, I'm able to provide my parents. I have the ability, but I fail to do that. I fail to provide for his parents with his physical resources and wealth. Is as if like he's dead, even though he's living, like that is saying. Krishna personally is saying this. And then this is according to Karma Kanda Vishnu Chakravarti talks about. So now text 7, he says, a man, again he says, who has the ability to take care of parents, but still he fails to support elderly parents, chaste wife, young child, spiritual master, or neglects the Brahmana, taking care of Brahmana, or any other dependents who come to his shelter, is considered dead, even though he's breathing like that, even though he's alive. So that's another verse here. Now, so basically, it's very important for us to take care of our dependents nicely. and not one. That is one category, dependents, parents, chaste wife, and young child. Another category is our spiritual master we need to serve. And then Brahmanas. Because why? Many times Prabhupada explains in the Vedic culture, Brahmanas are engaged in their own self-realization and devotion service and perfection, and also they are interested in sharing right knowledge and guidance for others' upliftment also in Krishna consciousness. So we should not give Brahmanas and Vanaprasthas and Sannyasis and Brahmacharis a headache of trying to see how to earn money so I can live like that. We as Grihasthas take care of their needs so that they can do their business nicely and they can benefit all of us also. So that's about in the text 8, that's the principle is describing Krishna. Now text 9, okay, text 8. Yeah, text 8 is Krishna is considering that all these days we spent without serving you, we spent in that time is all useless. We were at fault, like that is saying. We wasted all these days because we were unable to properly honor you. Why? Like ordinary child is saying, because our minds were disturbed by fear of Kamsa. That's why we didn't come here, like that is saying. Now, purport identifies something nice, important. Why is Krishna speaking like this? Because he wants parents to feel that this Krishna and Balaram are dependent on their parenting, dependent on them. So that's how they'll develop parental feelings. That's how we can situate in Vatsala Rasa with them like that. That's why he's invoking that parental feelings. In fact, that's a very important principle also. For us, when we exercise our submission before a spiritual master, before our superiors, then our superiors will feel, oh, I need to take care of them nicely. I need to bless them. I need to pray for their welfare, like that. So it's important for us to submit to our superiors and spiritual master nicely, so that they'll wish well for us. They'll do all the best for us, best things for us. Now coming forward to next verse. So now Krishna is personally seeking forgiveness for not serving them. And he's saying, so that is an important principle we need to learn. We should not feel shy, we should not feel bad, we should not feel uh, proud to be able to seek forgiveness when we make mistake or when we are not able to do our part for others, like that. Now, this big word, I was looking at dictionary, it means charmed or enchanted, it seems. When Krishna spoke such sweet words in submission towards his parents, then his parents, they joyfully raised him up because he was paying obeisances and speaking from down. They raised him up on their laps and they embraced him, it seems. And then they actually poured out, they were crying out of joy of having their son again with them. So they could not speak also with that tears choking up the throat, like that. So this is the first section of this chapter where we are hearing how Krishna and Balram went to their parents and they addressed them nicely, they submitted to them nicely, they tried to give their affectionate relationship to them, so that way they are also happy and they received happily Krishna and Balram. That's the first section we saw now. Now in the next section from 12th to 19th verse, we'll see Krishna installing Ugrasena as a king, and then how Krishna takes care of his relatives also. It's a short section. Basically, this verse is saying Krishna installed Ugrasena as the king of the Yadus. And Krishna tells him, we are your subjects. So, okay, in this purport, it is described, Vishnu Chakravarti describes that actually when Krishna was comforting Vasudeva and Devaki along with Balaram, actually Nanda Maharaj was not there, it seems. They went separate route. So that way Nanda Maharaj doesn't see that. It is an awkward situation. We'll discuss that situation also later on. Basically, when Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva and Devaki were with Krishna and Balram, Nanda Maharaj was away. They are out of sight like that. That's another point mentioned in this place. Now, Krishna installed Ugrasena as king. Then he told him, "We are your subjects." Is putting himself under care of Ugrasena, not above Ugrasena. He's saying, "Please command us, please instruct us." And he says, because of curse of Yayati, no Yadu may sit on the royal throne. So, why is he asking like that? Why is he saying this point? He's saying, Ugrasena may say, "Oh no, actually, you should sit. I'm not qualified to sit." But the Krishna is saying, I'm actually from Yadu dynasty. I'm not supposed to, I cannot sit because of the curse of Yayati. But then Ugrasena may say, I'm also from Yadu dynasty. I may be considered also from Yadu dynasty. Then he's saying, because I'm giving the order, so you can sit. There's no fault in your part like that. That is another principle to remember. The higher principle sometimes trumps a lower principle when we're making decisions also in our life. So sometimes, for the sake of Krishna consciousness, we might need to compromise some moral principles, some lower principles, for example. That's okay. For example, we want to eat prasadam only, but somebody in the work sometimes invites us for some lunch program, and we don't want to go there. It may be okay in some circumstances like that. Either we can tell directly that I don't eat outside, sorry, or if the situation doesn't permit, we may tell some lie also. That should not be excused all the time. But for a higher principle, in certain circumstances, we can speak. So that is another principle we can learn here also. Now going to the 14th verse. He's saying, since I'm present, yeah, then Ugrasena might say, actually I'm not so powerful to become like a king. He says, don't worry, because I am under you, now, like personal assistant, attendant, I'm there. All the demigods will come and serve you. Similarly, all the rulers don't dare to challenge you. They will also come and serve you because I'm under you now. Like that is assuring King Ugrasena. Then in 15, 16 verse, he says that he brought all his close members. Remember, when Kamsa was ruling, all the family members went in different directions. We heard in the beginning of the 10th canto. So he brought all of them back here in one place. And he respected them all. He treated them with honor. And then he consoled them and he resettled them in their homes, it seems. And he gratified them with valuable gifts also to each one of them. And then finally, because of this treatment and all of them coming at one place, they felt very protected by Krishna and Balram. And they felt all their desires were fulfilled. And they enjoyed perfect happiness while living with their families. And they no longer suffered from the fever of material existence also, it seems. So every day they could see Krishna's cheerful lotus face, which was decorated with beautiful, merciful, smiling glasses. Whenever Krishna's face is described, we can hear these descriptions about his wonderful smile, merciful, sweet glances, pleasing glances, like that. So now, and also even the old people, they became youthful and they became full of strength and vitality because they could see Lord Krishna's lotus feet or lotus face always. That's why regularly, rather constantly. So that is the second section where Krishna installed as king. Krishna installed Ugrasena as the king, and he took care of his relatives. Now going to the next section is how Krishna and Balaram consoled Nanda Maharaj. Remember, they consoled Vasudeva and Devaki first. Now they installed King Ugrasena as king, and they took care of other family members. Now they consoled Nanda Maharaj. So then, Sukadeva Goswami is describing that Krishna, along with Balarama, approached Nanda Maharaj. And here it says, Krishna and Balarama embraced Nanda Maharaj. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments here that actually Nanda Maharaj was so eager that while Krishna and Balaram came right away, before they paid obeisances, he embraced them, it seems. Normally, we hear in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam how the Vaishnava etiquette is maintained. That when we go before the elders, we pay obeisances. When some younger people pay obeisances to us, we embrace them. So when peers are together also, we embrace them like that. Like that, different rules are mentioned by Sri Prabhupada in one of the purports. When Krishna goes before Yudhishthira Maharaj, Bhima and Arjuna like that. So we can see that that is not followed here because Nanda Maharaj was so eager to receive them, enthusiastic and eager to receive them with affection. That's why he embraced them, it says, before they even offered obeisances. Now, Krishna Balaram are speaking. Oh, Nanda Maharaj, you and Mother Yashoda, actually, even though it's Krishna and Balaram speaking, it says, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur clarifies, Balaram speaking. He says, you and Mother Yashoda have affectionately maintained us and cared for us so much. Indeed, parents love their children more than their own lives like that. So here, for us, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur indicates that they took care of Krishna and Balaram both equally, not like Krishna is my son, Balaram is Mother Rohini and Vasudeva's son, not like that. They took care of both of them nicely like that, it seems. So, in the next verse, like that, in the next verse, Balaram is speaking, they are the real father and mother who care for. Why is speaking that? Nanda might say, my dear Balaram, actually your real father is Vasudeva. So if you say, I want to come with you, I want to always stay with you, I cannot take you to Vraja because my friend Vasudeva will be in distress due to separation from you. That's why he's saying, no, no, no. Actually, you were my real father and mother because you cared for me. If somebody produces children but they abandons them, they cannot be considered real father because they didn't maintain and protect them. So I want to stay with you and Krishna always. If you leave me with here and go along with Krishna, I cannot live like that. Balaram is saying, it seems. So now going to 23rd verse. Now Krishna says this verse, it seems, that now you should all return to Raja, dear father. Why is he saying that? Nanda Maharaj started thinking, oh my God, Balaram wants to come with us now. Vasudeva will be in so much anxiety. How do I deal with it? Like that is thinking, it says. That time Krishna assures him, don't worry, we'll stay here for some time. Now you go, Baba. But when he will come back, Nanda Maharaj had doubt. That's why he's saying, as soon as we have given our relatives some happiness to your well-wishing friends, here is implying Vasudeva, because Nanda Maharaj is nice friend with Vasudeva. So he's implying that as soon as we give some happiness to him, because you're thinking that he'll be worried if Balaram goes away, so we'll give some happiness and come. Like that he's telling. Then, consoling Nanda Maharaj and other Gopas are also there, not only Nanda Maharaj. Krishna respectfully honored them with different gifts, it seems. And then Nanda Maharaj was overwhelmed with affection upon hearing Krishna's words. And then he finally went back to Vraja with cowherd man. Actually, this was very big purport from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. But the essence is that sometimes why did Krishna leave Nanda Maharaj like this? How come Nanda Maharaj could go away to Braja, leaving Krishna? All those questions he answers in the purport, Vishnu Chakravarti commentary. But I'll highlight a couple of things considering the time. One is that he gives an analogy. Just as a man places gold within fire to reveal its purity, because it will show purity within fire, gold. Similarly, Krishna wanted to show to the rest of the world that how his most beloved residents of Vrindavana, Vrajavasis, are so exalted in their devotion. And he wanted them to manifest that supreme love in separation from him like that. That's what he's telling in that is why they experience this separation like that. Of course, Vishwanath Thakur commentary also talks about there is another way that actually Krishna was never separated from Nanda Maharaj like that. And Krishna was never separated with Brajavasis also. That is another point he mentions also. So then another point he mentions in the commentary is that actually Krishna went back to Vrindavan, even though Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't talk about it. Srimad Bhagavatam talks about Balaram going back to Vrindavan. But Padma Purana mentions a reference that after killing of Dantavaktra, finally, who is the last demon, Krishna went back to Raja, it seems. So that's what Vishnu Thakur describes here. Basically, to prove the greatness of the love of Vrindavan Vasis, like that. Now, in text 26, so now this is one more section that happened, where Krishna and Balaram consoled Nanda Maharaj, and Nanda Maharaj left for Raja along with other Gopas. Now, the next big section is how Vasudeva arranges Upanayana ceremony, and then how Krishna Balaram study at Gurukul, like that. So now, Vasudeva arranged for their Upanayana ceremony, where they give the sacred ceremony, sacred thread, like that. And then Vasudeva honored the Brahmanas by worshipping them and by giving them different kinds of gifts, like that. And then Vasudeva, remember when Krishna was born, Vasudeva mentally gave cows, 10,000 cows to Brahmanas, it seems. But at that time, all his property, including cows, are taken by Kamsa. So now he recovered those cows back from Kamsa's herd, and then he gave 10,000 cows to Brahmanas, it seems. Whatever he mentally gave that time, he physically gave now. Then, after their Upanayana ceremony, both the lords took the vow of celibacy from Gargamuni, it seems. And then they wanted to set an example, and they desired to go to a Gurukul of his Guru. That's why they went to Sandipani Muni's ashram, who was resident of Kasi, but he was in Avanti, it seems. That in the today's day, it is also called Avantipura in the Srimad Bhagavatam sometimes, in this verse. But today's day, it's called Ujjain, which is in near Indore in Madhya Pradesh. So he approached Sandipani Muni, it seems, for the knowledge. Actually, Krishna, then Sandipani Muni taught them very highly. So, and they were two self-controlled disciples. This is another important principle we can learn. Even Krishna Balram exercise self-control when they are students practicing spiritual life, like that. So we should learn from them as example, not to imitate them. So then Sandipan Muni was very happy that he got such a great disciples, and Krishna and Balram served him as devote with so much devotion, as if like is the Supreme Lord, like that. Like how we are understand Supreme Lord should be respected and worshipped like a spiritual master should be worshipped like a Supreme Lord, like that. So like that, Balram showed a wonderful example how to take care of spiritual master, how to serve the spiritual master, like that, with their personal example in this case. Then Sandipani Muni was very satisfied with their submissive behavior, and then he taught them entire Vedas along with their sex corollaries and the Upanishads also. And he also taught them Dhanurveda, and he also taught them scriptures like Manu Samhita, and he also taught them Nyaya Shastras, so Karma Mimamsa and other theories, it seems. And he also taught them philosophical debate. So that is called actually here logical argument is Tarka, it is given logical arguments. And then political science also he was taught, it seems. 6 folds of science of politics, like that. And not only that, Krishna and Balram learned the 64 arts and skills in 64 days and nights also. And they satisfied their guru by offering him Guru Dakshina. This is a big list of 64 arts and skills that they learned. Interestingly, there's so many nice things that are practical skills, not just theoretical learning. Including practical skills, including cooking, including making different kind of artwork, decoration, solving riddles and memorizing things, reciting books, and then architecture, uh, what they need to do as a king also they learned. Like that, so many things they learned, not just the theoretical skills, but practical skills also. After they learned on that, they asked Sandipan Muni, please tell us what you desire as Guru Dakshina. And Sandipan Muni thought carefully, and then he consulted his wife also. He understood these are not ordinary people, they have superhuman intelligence. Let me ask them something very, very important for me also. Their son passed away in the ocean water. So that time at Prabhasa Kshetra, it seems, which is also a pilgrimage place for Lord Shiva, it seems. So they asked him, can you bring back my son alive, like that? So then the Lord said, so be it. And they went on the chariot and they went to the deity of the ocean, at the shore of the ocean. And as soon as they went to the ocean, ocean god recognized that these are supreme lords themselves. He came and offered their obeisances. And he said, how can I serve you, like that? Then Krishna ordered him, bring back the son of my guru. The ocean replied, actually, I have not taken him. There's a demon called Panchajana who took that son, and he lives in the ocean waters also, but he's so powerful than me. That's why I could not protect him. Like that he mentioned. So then after these two verses, then Krishna understood. Krishna entered the ocean without Balram. Balram is in the shore only. Krishna entered the ocean and he killed Panchajana demon, and he got the conch shell which is in his demon, which is in belly. That conch shell is called Panchajanya, which we hear in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita also. So he took the conch shell and went back to the chariot, and then they both went back to Samyamani, which is the abode of Yamaraja. And after going there, Krishna blew his conch shell. That Krishna's blowing of conch shell was so glorious that it had amazing effects in the hellish planet. Basically, all the things that are troubling the living souls, they're not troubling anymore. Like here is describing. Yeah, sharp sword-like leaves on its trees, they became soft, and Ruru bees went away. So all the cooking that happens in the Kumbhapaka hell, where people are burnt in hot oil, that stopped cooking, like that. Like that, all the suffering went away for them, number one. Number two, they all attained liberation and approached the spiritual world after all the sinful reactions are gone away, just by Krishna blowing his conch shell, like that. We hear conch shell blowing is also brings all auspiciousness. That's why we do it in Aarti also. I was recollecting that in this context. So then Krishna uh, went back with the son. Oh yeah, Yamaraja comes out and says, how can I serve you, like that? And then Krishna asks him, bring my Guru's son at once. And don't think that you're making a fault, because my order, it's not a fault of your activity, your duty, like that. So Yamaraja brings back his son. Krishna takes his son, Guru's son, back to the spiritual master. The spiritual master is very, very satisfied with the Guru Dakshina of his son, like that. And Guru gives permission to go and blesses him that all the Vedic hymns you learnt may ever be fresh in your minds in this life and next life also. So after taking permission, he goes back to Madura. So that is where this chapter ends. Chapter ends where all the citizens were very happy to see Krishna and Balaram in Madura. So 7:20. At this rate, I'm going slow. 40 minutes for one chapter. Let us try to speed up a little bit. So now, yeah, let me open my notes also for the next chapter. 1 minute. Yeah. Okay, good. Now, this chapter is even more beautiful. Basically, Uddhava visits Vrindavana. Basically, after Krishna and Balaram return back to Mathura, Krishna, this chapter summary we see, Krishna sends Uddhava to Vraja. Why? To relieve the distress of Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mataji, and the young gopis. To relieve their distress, Krishna is sending Uddhava with a message to Vrindavan, Raja. So that's what is going on here. First 7 verses is Krishna instructing Uddhava. Krishna sending Uddhava to Vrindavana. That is the first section we see. Sukadeva Goswami says, who is Uddhava is introducing Sukadeva Goswami? Supremely intelligent Uddhava. Why is calling supremely intelligent? That is described in the purport, that because he could expertly pacify the residents of Vrindavana who were feeling so much separation from Krishna. That's why it's called supremely intelligent. And he was the best counselor of Rishi dynasty, it seems. He's like a minister for Krishna. And he's also a beloved friend of Sri Krishna also. And also he's a direct disciple of Brihaspati, who is the spiritual master or teacher of the demigods. So in this purport, and also Uddhava is none other than cousin brother of Krishna. Like Krishna's father Vasudeva and Vasudeva's brother, I think his name is Devabhaga. Vasudeva's brother's son is Uddhava, like that. He's a cousin also. So in this purport, a question is addressed. The question is, why Lord Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan? Why Lord Krishna sent Uddhava only to Vrindavan? Why not somebody else? And why did he send him at all? He could have sat there, he did not have to go. Because Krishna promised the residents of Raja and Nanda Maharaj that he will come back soon. That is one reason. And second reason is, he gave his, but at the same time, he also promised Vasudeva and Devaki that now I'll spend time with you. How can he leave Vasudeva and Devaki and go up to Vrindavan to fulfill his promise? That's why he sent his intimate representative to Vrindavan in his place. So Uddhava, that is why he sent Uddhava. And another reason is, Uddhava looks similar to Krishna, it seems, in terms of complexion and the way he looks. Not only that, he wears the dresses that Krishna wears. He wears the ornaments that Krishna wears. Like that, he reminds everybody of Krishna because he looks almost similar to Krishna, like that. That's why he sent Krishna, Uddhava to Braja is described. Next is, so essentially, because he gave promise to Vrajavasis, because he cannot go, because he gave promise to Vasudeva and Devaki, but because Uddhava looks almost like Krishna and Uddhava is in his intimate service, that is why he is sending Uddhava to Krishna, Vrindavan, not to anybody else. Next, another question asked in purport and answered is, why did not Krishna invite Nanda and Yashoda Mataji to come here instead, Madhura? Many devotees have that question. The answer is, Jiva Goswami tells that it will be awkward, but Krishna to exchange loving feelings with Vasudeva and Devaki in front of Nanda and Yashoda, or exchanging loving feelings with Vasudeva, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mataji before Vasudeva and Devaki. That awkwardness in his Leela he wanted to not have. That's why Krishna didn't invite them to come here like that. Another thing is, even if Rajvasis come here to Madura, they have unique feelings for Krishna. So in the atmosphere of kingly atmosphere of palace and kingly atmosphere in Madura, they cannot express their feelings freely to Krishna. That is why he didn't call them like that is described. So now, in the next verse, Krishna lovingly holds hand of Uddhava in his hand and then requests him. What does he say? Go to Raja and give pleasure to our parents. And also relieve the gopis who are suffering in separation from me, by giving my message to them. So this is the order directly he is giving. Now after giving this order to Uddhava, Krishna remembers how wonderful are gopi, how they are suffering because of separation from him. Like that he remembers in the next set of verses. He says, my minds of my gopis are always observed in me. Their very lives are devoted to me. For my sake, they abandoned everything about their bodies, like husbands, children's home. They renounced their ordinary happiness in life, even the religious duties that they perform, people perform to get some happiness in their life. They also really got rid of that. And I'm their only dearmost beloved. I'm their very self. So that's why in the purport, the point is made that Krishna maintains even devotees like us who are in Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti also. Then he will certainly maintain the gopis who are such exalted devotees. Then, and he continues to glorify the gopis. He says, I am the most cherished object of their love. When they remember me, they are overwhelmed by the anxiety of separation. So similarly, because I promised my return to them, my cowherd girls struggle to maintain their lives somehow or other. That means they're maintaining their lives just because I'm going to go back. I told them I'm going to come back. They don't want me to feel bad when I go back, they're not there. That is why they're living for me. So like that is glorifying them, gopis, love. Then he says, seventh verse, Uddhava, Uddhava respectfully accepted Krishna's message, and then he mounted a chariot and he started to Gokula. So that ends the first section where Krishna is giving instructions to Uddhava to go with his message for gopis. We don't hear about what is his message here. We'll hear what is Uddhava's message when he's speaking to Nanda Maharaj and when he's speaking gopis, like that we'll hear. So Uddhava started. Now next section 8 to 15 verses is Uddhava reaches Gokula and how Nanda Maharaj receives him nicely, like that. So Uddhava reaches almost at sunset, it seems. So at that time, cows and animals are coming back home from forest. That's why they are releasing lot of dust from their hooves. Oh, that's a nice atmosphere described in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto many times. So Gocharana pastime is described, like goats are coming, like Krishna when he's returning back, nice dust of cows comes on the top, like that. And Krishna's face is beautiful. Krishna's face is smeared with some dust and some sweat, like drops are there in the perspiration, like drops are there in the face, like that is described, beautiful face. Now is not, Krishna is not there in this scene, but still, because of the dust, nobody could see that Uddhava's chariot passing through the dust, it seems. Then Krishna manifested with his internal potency, yogamaya potency, beautiful Vrindavan again. Actually, when Krishna left Vrindavan, everybody was sad. Nothing was beautiful anymore in Vrindavan. But Krishna wanted to give that glimpse of the beautiful Vrindavan atmosphere to Uddhava. That's why he manifested with Yogamaya wonderful, wonderful, beautiful things again in Vrindavan. Like cows are moving and chasing of noise of milking is coming. White calves are jumping here and there, and loud reverberation of flute playing is coming. And this is the important principle I like, point I like, is the Gopas and Gopis are engaged in Kirtana about Krishna's glories, Leela Kirtan. So this is a common theme during the 10th canto. You'll see that they're doing Kirtan when they're doing their work, when they're walking, doesn't matter what they're doing. They're always singing about Krishna's glories, like that. So that's what is going on. Like that beautiful atmosphere he sees. Then as soon as finally Uddhava arrives at the Nanda Maharaj's home, then Nanda Maharaj, because he looks exactly like Krishna almost, so he comes to embrace, he embraces him. Even though Nanda Maharaj is in separation from him, sad, but he comes, embraces him in great happiness. And he worships him non-different like Krishna only. So that's described up to text 14. And then one more verse. Then he fed him first class bhoga, first class prasadam to him, first class food to him. And then he gave him a nice seat to sit comfortably. And then he got his servant to do a massage, foot massage to him. Why he did not do it personally? Because he's like his nephew only. That is why he didn't want to, younger, right? Younger to him. That's why he didn't do personally. But through his servant, he got a message, purport says. And then Nanda inquired from me as follows. This is another thing I observed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Whenever a guest comes, we don't start asking him, how is your journey? How are you? How is your friend? How is your brother? How is your wife? We first give them some space and time to take some rest, to eat some food. And then we inquire. That's another nice thing we can learn from Vaishnava etiquette perspective. Instead of bombarding with lots of questions while they're entering the home itself, we should give them some space, time, food, some water, some sitting space, some resting time, and then ask deeper questions like that. Then text 16 onwards is the next section where Nanda Maharaj is eager to know how is Krishna, how is everyone there in Madhura, and does Krishna and Balaram remember him like that? So this whole set of verses are talking about that. We'll go through some of them. He says, does how is first asking about his friend Vasudeva. This is again Vaishnava etiquette. We ask about elders before we ask about youngers like that. So he's asking how is Vasudeva doing now that he's free, that means not in prison anymore, and he united with his children and other relatives. Unfortunately, because Kamsa is killed now, who hated the saintly and religious Yadus, he may be in better position like that. Now he starts to go to Krishna now. He says, does Krishna remember us? Does Krishna remember his mother Yasoda? Does he remember his friends and well-wishers? Does he remember the Gopas and this village of Braja? Does he remember the cows, Vrindavan forest, Govardhan hill? Will Govardhan return even once to see his family? If he ever does, we may get an opportunity to see him. So this is the hope against hope Nanda Maharaj is expressing. He doesn't have hope that he will come back after becoming a prince in Madura-like city. Will he come back like that? But he has some hope. That's why he's asking. And then he says, we were saved from how Krishna saved them from different dangers. He's remembering one by one. From forest fire, from Indra's wind and rain pastime, Govardhan pastime, and then he saved from Arishtasura bull, he saved from Kalia demon, like that. And then as we remember the wonderful deeds, and that is greatness of Krishna in one sense, and his playful sidelong glances, his smiles, and his words, we forget all our material engagements. This is the wonderful, when we remember Krishna and Krishna Katha, we can also experience this, that we can be free from anxiety, from material miseries like that. And then he says, when we see the places where Krishna performed his sporting pastimes like rivers, hills, forests, our minds become totally absorbed in him like that. And then he says, Krishna and Balaram must be two exalted demigods who came to this planet. Why? One reason is because Gargamuni said so. He said that they have great qualities like Narayana. And not only Gargamuni told, actually we saw how they did very great pastimes, super wonderful pastimes. They killed Kamsa who had 10,000 elephants strength. They killed great wrestlers like Chanura and Mustika. They killed big elephant called Kuvalayapida. All these they could do it like a playtime only. Like how a lion kills small animals, they killed all of them. That means they must be great demigods like that. And then not only that, Krishna broke a giant bow that is 270 feet long, and he held a Govardhan Giri for 7 days long on just one hand. All this shows these must be great demigods. Here in Vrindavana, Krishna destroyed so many demons. That proves that they must be great demigods. And that way, he intensely remembered Krishna again and again. Who? Nanda Maharaj. And then his mind completely attached to Krishna. He felt extremely anxious and fell silent. And by his love for Krishna, Mother Yashoda was hearing all this time Nanda Maharaj talking about her son's activities. So she came into tears. All the time she's been in tears. She cannot talk to anybody also. And with intense love, her breast is overflowing with milk for Krishna, with out of love. This is another common theme that comes in many places in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. So then comes next section from 29th verse to 43rd verse, Uddhava addressing Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda. So far what we've seen Krishna request ordering Uddhava to go to Vraja. Krishna remembering Gopi's wonderful qualities, wonderful devotion. And then we saw how Nanda Maharaj received Uddhava nicely. And then Nanda Maharaj inquired about Krishna and his welfare. And he was absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, his activities, his pastimes, like that. And then now finally Uddhava gets to address Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And then he will give the message of Krishna also. So first he says, after seeing the loving attraction Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda felt for Krishna, Uddhava says, "Oh Nanda Maharaj, you and Mother Yashoda are most praiseworthy persons in the entire world. Why? Because you developed such a loving attitude towards Lord Narayana, the speech master of all living beings. Why is he referring Krishna as Narayana here? By seeing Nanda Maharaj mood, where he referred to them as greatest demigods. Moreover, you might recollect, Gargamuni said they will have qualities like Narayana, like that also. Powers like Narayana also. That is why he's referring to him as Narayana like this. And then he says, Mukunda and Balaram are the seed and womb of the universe. He's telling them philosophy now. He's telling them they're not your sons. They're actually Supreme Lord himself, like that he's telling. They're the creators of this universe. And even a person in impure state who observes in mind in Krishna for just a moment at death burns up all the sinful reactions when you remember Krishna at that one moment also. And they immediately attain the spiritual world. But you both are great because you rendered exceptional service to him, Lord Narayana. So, what pious deeds could still be required of you? You did great pious deeds already, like that he said. Now, he says, infallible Krishna will soon return to Vraja to satisfy his parents. Don't worry, he'll come to satisfy his parents. Like that, he's reassuring them. He's saying, having killed Kamsa in the wrestling arena, Krishna will now surely fulfill his promise to you by coming back. This is understanding their impatience is described in the purport. Then he's saying, don't lament. You'll see Krishna again very, very soon. You notice in 3 consecutive verses, he's saying very, very soon he's coming. Krishna is coming, like that. That is his reassurance. That is the purpose he came. And now he goes back to philosophy. He is present in the hearts of all living beings, just like fire is dormant in the wood. That means like a super soul is present everywhere. For him, no one is especially dear. Now he's saying, no one is really dear to him or not dear to him. He's indifferent to, but he's not indifferent to them also. He's free from all desire for respect. Amanina manadena. Remember? He doesn't want respect from others, but he respects all others, like that he's saying. This important principle we can learn from Krishna himself. Then he says, actually he has no mother, father, no relatives like that. Because he has no material body and no birth also. He is Supreme Lord himself. But why does he come then? Why does he come in different kinds of species? Only to enjoy his pastimes and to deliver his saintly devotees also. That's why he comes. Not to fulfill an obligation like ours, conditioned souls like that. And although he's actually beyond the 3 modes of material nature, he actually plays with them. How he plays with them? He utilizes them to create, maintain, and destroy this material universe, like that. And then, just as a person who's whirling around perceives the ground to be turning, when somebody is whirling around like this, he thinks ground is turning. If someone is affected by false ego, thinks himself the doer, when actually once his own mind is acting. That means he doesn't understand when somebody misidentifies with his body, he thinks he is the doer. But actually in nature, in reality, material nature is what is doing things. That illusion is coming to the person, like that is saying. Then uh, Supreme Lord Hari is not certainly your son alone. Rather is the son, soul, father and mother of everyone. So he gave some philosophy in hopes that he can bring them to philosophical plane and give them some relief from the distress. That is why he is giving this philosophy first. And apparently it becomes clear and later on also, this is the kind of message Krishna wanted him to give to his parents and gopis, to explain them that he is Supreme Lord, like that. That is more apparent in the next section when he meets gopis in the next chapter actually. Finally, while they're, yeah, he's continuing this word also, that he is the Supreme Lord himself, like that. Supreme Soul himself. Then next section, 44 to 49, gopis actually see Uddhava. In this section, while Uddhava and Nanda were speaking like this, whole night passed away. And then gopis got up and they lighted lamps, they worshipped the deities, and they started churning yogurt into butter. While churning, what did they do again? They started singing songs again, like that. See, their songs blended with sound of their churning is another wonderful quality. As devotees, practice devotees, we can learn. Always remember Krishna, always glorify Krishna. Either we can chant the holy name or the Krishna's leelas, or remember Krishna's leelas, like that. So by their chanting, they dissipated all the inauspiciousness in every direction. That is the glory of chanting Krishna's holy names or Krishna's katha, like that. And then finally, when the sunrise came, that means they got up early. When the sunrise came, they could see the chariot. They were wondering, is this Akrura? Akrura came back again? Is he wanting to give our flesh for the funeral of his father, master? Like that they were thinking. Suddenly, Uddhava came after finishing his morning duties. So this is another practical lesson for us. If we should finish our morning duties like chanting, hearing and deity worship before we do any other duties, like that. Thus ends the second chapter that we are to cover today. Let me open my notes also. So parallelly, so we can continue the third chapter, Song of the Bee. This is a very exalted chapter. Whole section is very exalted. This section is even more exalted, where gopis, including Srimati Radharani, is identified by acharyas, is uh, indirectly glorifying Krishna, Krishna's name, qualities, but externally it appears that they're scolding him, they're cursing him, like that. Externally it appears like that. That's the beauty. I don't have such high realization, but whatever I understood and whatever I see from the purports, we'll discuss essentially with the little time we have. Basically, in this chapter, what is happening? Uddhava delivered Krishna's message to the gopis, consoled them, and goes back to Madura. That is the essence of this chapter. So the gopis were astonished upon seeing Krishna's servant. They understood this is Krishna's servant, because remember, he looks exactly like Krishna also. So they understood he's Krishna's servant. So they're asking, who is this handsome man? Where does he come from? And whom does he serve? He's wearing Krishna's clothes and ornaments. They understood. So they eagerly crowded around Uddhava. And actually, in the next verse, I think it says, they took him to a secluded place also. So they bowed their heads in humility first. They paid obeisances, understanding this is a great personality. He may be servant of Krishna, like that. So they honored Uddhava first, and including with pleasing words. And then they took him in a quiet place, gave him a comfortable seat. Remember, I told there's etiquette, sit, gave him a place to sit, and then only they began to question him, because they understood he's a messenger of Krishna, like that. So then Gopi said, we know that you're personal servant of Krishna and that you come here on the order of your master, who desires to give pleasure to his parents they're saying Krishna must be wanting to give pleasure to his parents. He may not care about us, but he cares about parents. Why? Because we see nothing else he might consider remembering in this Vraja. Because bonds of affection for one's family members are difficult to break, even for the sage also. Because of family affection, he might have sent you to please his parents. So then he says, the friendship shown towards others is motivated by personal interest. Selfishly, people show selfish interest. Like how bees go to flowers. So example here is, analogy is, bees go to one flower and take nectar, it seems. It doesn't go back to that flower, it seems. It goes to another flower now. It doesn't see that flower anymore. Like that, some fickle men, they go to one woman who have beautiful qualities like flowers, like fragrance, tenderness, charm, and so on. They go to one woman and then they go to next woman like that. They're indirectly saying about Krishna like that. But we know Gopis and Krishna don't have any lower qualities of passion and ignorance at all. They are very liberated. Gopis are liberated. Krishna is Supreme Lord himself. So then they say prostitutes abandon people who don't have money. And then citizens will abandon incompetent king. Students will abandon teacher after they finish their education. The priests, priest will go away after we give them donation after a sacrifice. And birds will go away from the tree after fruits are gone. And guests will go away from the home after he eats. Like that, everybody goes away after spending some time. But and also lover also leaves a woman who is attached to him like that. But they're saying that they cannot leave him like that. Everybody can leave. Everybody is living naturally like that. So now here they're saying gopis were fully dedicated to Lord Govinda. They put aside all the regular work to be with Uddhava because they understood he is Krishna's messenger. And they started remembering Krishna's activities that he had performed in his childhood and youth. And they started singing about the glories. Remember, Nanda Maharaj started remembering about Krishna and he started glorifying his pastimes. Similarly, gopis meditated on Krishna's pastimes. So one of the gopis, while meditating on her association, she saw a honeybee, it seems. Remember the title of this chapter is Song of the Bee, honeybee. So this is Srimati Radharani herself is indicated in this verse. So she saw a honeybee and she imagined that honeybee to be a messenger of Krishna. And she starts to speak 10 verses from 12th to 21st, as if the honeybee is the messenger of Krishna like that. And these are exalted verses again. But basically, indirectly, it feels like she's criticizing, Radharani is criticizing Krishna, but she's glorifying Krishna's qualities also. So this is one kind of qualities of Prajalpa is described here. Actually, let me go to 22nd verse, my notes. I'll tell you something. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur commentary in the 21st verse describes, actually, this is because of the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani. She is expressing different kinds of Chitrajalpa, it seems. And the Chitrajalpa is nothing but their different kinds of ecstasy comes as manifestation, it seems. So we'll go through one at a time. In these verses, we'll see. Purports are nicely explaining to us. Otherwise, we would not know. Basically, in this 12th verse, Radharani is saying that, oh honeybee, don't touch my feet of hibiscus, because you touched Krishna's garland, which has touched the other woman that Krishna is with, woman of Madura. So that's why you don't come to us like that. She's ready playing. This is called Prajalpa, it seems. That means denigrates the tactlessness of one's lover with expressions of disrespect. It is spoken in a mood of envy, jealousy, and pride, it seems. This is, of course, transcendental envy. So, next one is text 13. After making us drink the enchanting nectar of lips only once, Krishna suddenly abandoned us, just as you leave the flowers. How is it that goddess Padma, that is goddess of fortune, willingly serves his lotus feet even now? Even though he once stays with one woman and goes away, how come goddess of fortune is still staying? Oh, he must have used some deceitful words to convince her. Like that is he speaking. This is also another kind of speech called parijalpa, it seems, that shows one's own cleverness by exposing the mercilessness, duplicity, unreliability. See, remember, unreliability means he might go to another woman like that. Like that, is indirectly glorifying and remembering Krishna. Next verse, 14th verse. Why do you sing here so much about the Lord of Yadus in front of us homeless people? Why don't you go sing before these new girlfriends who are in Madura? They'll give you some charity as a donation. This is another kind of speech, it seems, called Vijalpa. Sarcastic speech, it seems, openly expressing jealousy towards other women, other Madura women. Similarly, in heaven or earth, in sometimes what women are unavailable to him? He's so beautiful. He has such a beautiful smile, beautiful eyebrows. Eh, By his charm, everybody will fall for him. So Supreme Goddess herself is worshipping dust of his lotus feet. What is our position in some comparison? So like that, they're glorifying Supreme Lord. He's saying because he serves the wretched people, he takes care of wretched people. That's why it's called Uttam Sloka like that. This is another kind of glorification called Ujjalpa, it seems, where spoken this in spite of in a mood of spite born of pride, together with jealousy, insults directed against him. They're as if like insulting, but they're telling glories. Remember, they're telling his face is beautiful, his smile is beautiful, everybody will fall for his face like that. That's what is going on. And then he's saying, keep your head off my feet, go away from my feet. You expectly learn diplomacy from Mukunda. He abandoned those who for his sake alone gave up their children, husband. We gave up all our belongings to him, for him. But he's simply ungrateful. So this is another speech called Sanjalpa, it seems, where they discuss about beloved's ungratefulness. And then they describe Krishna's pastimes as Lord Rama in Treta Yuga, because they heard from Purnamasi itself in the purport is described. They say he killed Vali from behind a tree, and because he was conquered by Sita, a woman, he disfigured Surpanaka. Indirectly, they're saying all these things. And even after taking all the gifts from Bali Maharaj as Vamandev, he bound him with ropes as if he were a crow. Let us give up all friendship with the dark complexioned boy, even if we can't give up talking about him. This is another kind of speech called Avjalpa, it seems, where they're saying Lord Hari is unworthy of our attachment because of his harshness, lustiness, and dishonesty, like that. Dishonesty. See, they're saying with the past tense from Ramalila. Similarly, text 18, this is the glories of Krishna Katha. To hear about the pastime that Krishna regularly performs is nectar for the ears. For those who release just a single drop of that nectar, even once, their dedication to material duality is ruined completely. So basically, if we hear about Krishna, once we will not be deluded by material illusions. So Krishna, by hearing about Krishna, we can cleanse our heart from material illusions. So the another kind of speech called Avinashta. It seems. Oh, that's a text 18 only, right? Yeah. This is another kind of Abhijalpa. So basically, uh, with indirectly states with remorse that our beloved is fit to be given up, like that. So we should give up Krishna like that indirectly, but it is glorifying Krishna only, because this Krishna Katha is glorious, is said, right? Like that. So next one is text 19. In this one, faithfully taking his defeatful words as true, we were charmed like a deer. Like deers are caught by hunter by flute song or music, it seems, because deer's weakness is hearing. Some sweet sounds they hear, they will stay and listen. Then hunter will catch them. Like that, we fell for his deceitful words, they are saying. So that is the ajalpa, is another kind of speech. So they're saying lover is deceitful and brings one misery, like that. So now text 20. I should honor you, friend. So please choose what I boon you wish. But why have you come back here to take us to me? So here, the point being here is, she's saying that she cannot give up Krishna, even though there is a Pratijalpa. Let me show you. Pratijalpa. When the lover humbly states that although she is unworthy of attaining her beloved, she cannot give up hoping for a conjugate relationship. In one sense, she's thinking, I cannot get Krishna's association, but another hope, she's having hope against hope, like that. That is called Pratijalpa, it seems. Now, text 21, it is indeed regrettable that Krishna resides in Madhura. Does he remember his fathers and friends and cowherd Gopas? Does he ever talk about us maidservants? When will he lay on our heads his Aguru scented hand? Now they're asking like that. So this purport clearly clarifies that they have hope against hope. They're asking because Madhura is close to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is close to Madhura. Maybe he'll show up for one day. So Krishna may be impatient. He may come back here. So does he tell about us gopis to ladies of Madhura also? Like that they're asking, it seems. This is another kind of speech called Sujalpa, it seems. So here Radharani speaking completes here this up to this verse. Then coming to the next verse, now after Radharani completes speaking, Uddhava then tries to pacify the gopis by giving the message of Krishna. He says, first of all, you are all successful and are universally worshipped because you dedicate your minds in this way to Krishna. And he says devotion service is achieved in these ways. How? By dana, donations given to Vishnu and his devotees, by vratas such as Ekadasi, by renunciation of sense gratification for Krishna's sake, by doing fire sacrifices dedicated to Vishnu, by doing japa, by doing swadhyaya, reading scriptures. That's how we can achieve devotion service normally. But by your good fortune, you establish an excellent standard, topmost pure devotion you are already established. Not even sages can hardly attain that. By your great fortune, you actually left your family members and relatives in favor of Krishna. You're so great, he's glorifying them. And then he says, you actually rightfully claim the privilege of unalloyed devotion service to Krishna. Indeed, by your love and separation, you have shown me great mercy. He's saying, by your example, you showed me great mercy, how love is of such a highest quality, like that. Now he says, let me please hear Krishna's message now, he says. Now he talks about philosophy. This philosophy is similar to what he told to Nanda Maharaj. Basically, he says, you never actually separate from me because I'm soul of all creation. So I'm present in everything, like that. So you never separate from me, like that. Krishna is saying. That message is saying. And I'm the actually creator, maintainer, and annihilator also for this universe. And then he's saying the soul is distinct from everything material, is unentangled, is not involved in the modes of nature. Therefore, we should be fully alert and bring the mind under control. Actually, all these purpose of this yoga and everything is to control your mind. This is process of, are not actually spiritual process, but there are ways to justify their. Let me see here. All Vedic literature that ultimately purpose is to bring the soul to the point of controlling the mind and senses and fixing them in self-realization like that. Now, he is basically saying that once you situate in self-realization, you'll realize I'm here everywhere. So why are you worried that I'm so far away? Don't worry like that. He's giving a philosophical explanation basically. And here he says, what is the act? This is a beautiful verse. Why is Krishna leave them? Krishna left them because so that he can intensify their meditation on him, so that he can draw their minds closer and closer to him, like that he's saying. So, and he says, example, when a lover is far away, woman will think of him more than when he's present before her. Actually, this is one of the principles of Grihastha Ashram also. Husband and wife should not be there all the time throughout the year with each other. They should go for some time. Then husband and wife will realize with gratitude, the greatness of the value of the services that others is offering, like that. So here is describing that Krishna is saying he's intensifying their love. That's why he left, like that is saying. Then he says, because your minds are totally absorbed in me, you remember me always. That's why you'll very soon have me in your presence, like that. He's assuring them that he will come back. So he's giving example. When Rasa dance happened, some gopis could not join the Rasa dance. But what happened? They attained him just by thinking about his potent pastimes. So you also, by thinking about me, you can attain me. Like that is glorifying. Now, the gopis were happy to hear this message from Uddhava, which is the message of Krishna, like that. So then Gopi started speaking to Uddhava furthermore, saying that he must be, he's the enemy and prosecutor. Let me say 40th verse, right? Yeah. Now, he is bestowing on the city women the pleasure that actually belongs to us. Now, ladies of Madura must be worshipping him with generous glances full of affectionate smiles. How can he not become entangled by their enchanting words and gestures? Does Govinda even remember our conversations any times? Does he mention us when he's talking to Madura city woman? Does he recall those nights in Vrindavan forest where we spent in Rasa Leela? Does he freely talk with them? That is the previous verse, right? Yeah. So then, yeah, in this purport, there's a beautiful thing. Basically, gopis were thinking about Krishna's happiness. This is one of the most important point of this whole Leela. Basically, gopis are thinking that Krishna cannot be happy without Vrindavan. Krishna cannot be happy with our love. No one can give the love that we give. No one can give the happiness that Krishna gets in Vrindavan. Not out of pride, they're thinking like this. They're thinking from Krishna's perspective. Krishna should get the best happiness. That is why they're worried that Krishna is away from us, so he'll not get best happiness. Krishna is away from Vrindavan, so he'll not get the best happiness. Like that. That is the important point of the whole Leela here. Like this, when will they hear? Will he save us? Will he come back and will he save us? He is satisfied there? Basically, how can we, forest dwellers, even fulfill his purposes? Is already fulfilled within himself. Even though we know this, actually happiness is renouncing all desires. We cannot give up our hopes of attaining Krishna, like that they say. We cannot bear to give up intimate talks of Krishna. Although he showed no interest, like goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi never leaves his lotus feet. We cannot leave, and never leaves his chest. We cannot leave him. Like that, how can we forget him? He has stolen away by the charming way he walks, his generous smile, playful glances, and honey-like words. Like that, they start glorifying Krishna like anything. Finally, in the last section, gopis worship Uddhava with they, because he's a representative of Krishna, they worship Uddhava. And then what does Uddhava do in return? He reminds them about Krishna's pastimes. That's so they're always totally absorbed in Krishna. Uddhava spent several months in their association like that, gave his association. And he narrated different pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan. And then he was so mesmerized by the love of gopis. And he prays, let me be fortunate enough to be one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavan. Why? So that gopis' lotus feet dust can fall on me sometimes. Such, such he felt so much elevation as for his consciousness, and so much he appreciated the greatness of Brajagopis' love and devotion for Krishna. And he says, I repeatedly offer my respect to the dust of the feet of the women of Nanda Maharaj, cowherd village. When these gopis loudly chant the glories of Krishna, the vibration purifies 3 worlds like that. Finally, Uddhava took permission from Nanda Maharaj, and Nanda Maharaj gave him nice gifts before he went back to Mathura. And then when Uddhava went back to Mathura, he explained about immense devotion of Brajvasis to Krishna and Balaram. And he also gave all the gifts they gave as a representative of Krishna. He gave them to Krishna, Balaram, and Ugrasena. That's how this chapter ends. Sorry, we're going late. Only one more chapter is there. This is a short chapter, sweet chapter. We can spend a few minutes and we should be good. Basically, this chapter essentially, like you see with the summary also, Krishna, after Uddhava came back, Krishna wanted to satisfy 2 devotees, wonderful devotees. One is a devotee called Trivakra, who is also called as Kubja. By going to her home, he satisfies her and enjoys with her. And then he visits another pure devotee, Akrura, along with Krishna and Balaram and Uddhava. And then finally, at the end of the chapter, he sends Akrura to Hastinapur to find out how are Pandavas doing, and to satisfy the Pandavas. And are they being troubled by Kauravas? Please go and check them out, like that. So these are 3 main sections. We'll briefly go through. It's not a simple section only. We'll cover the some main important principle in this pastime, more than the details, okay? So, Krishna, after getting Uddhava's report, he is actually omniscient. He knows everything. But still, he wanted to satisfy the serving girl Trivakra, who was troubled by lust. So he went to her house. So in this section, the principle described is this. Then we'll go to the detail. Principle described is that actually Krishna wanted to give his mercy to this Kubja. And that is why he went to satisfy her lust. And more than that, he liberated her. He elevated her consciousness. So for that purpose, he went to Trivakra, like that is described. That is the main principle here. And she was a pure devotee by the time finally she associated with Krishna. That's also mentioned. That is the second point mentioned in the past time. Yeah. Initially she was not, but with Krishna's little association personally, she became a pure devotee like that. Why was Krishna being merciful for her? Or seeing her service attitude. When Krishna entered Mathura, she gave him, Krishna, the sandalwood paste and other perfumes that she kept for Kamsa also. Unlike Washerman who said, you are not eligible for these clothes, not like that. She gave nicely whatever she meant for Kamsa also, lovingly she put it, personally she put it on Krishna. And she expressed her desire also. That's why he's merciful to her. Now, Trivikra's Kubja's home is decorated nicely, and all the ambience of the place was suited for sensual attraction, for arousing sex pleasure, like that. We hear from Kardamani Devhuti pastime also, that's all these details are there in Vedic scriptures to take care of material life also. So that way, not only we're taking care of going back to spiritual world, but materially also we can be happy also at this time, like that is described in that section. Then all the nice decoration in the home is described, and then she got up as soon as she saw Krishna, and she respectfully greeted Krishna, offered him a seat and articles of worship. Generally, articles of worship means like arti, like that. And Uddhava, she also gave seat to Uddhava also. But this is another Vaishnava etiquette we can see. Before Krishna, he didn't want to sit on the same seat, same level seat. So he touched the seat and he touched the forehead, as if like he's respecting it. Like we hear about Mahaprasadam, right? Somebody brings Mahaprasadam, but we cannot accept it for some reason. We say, we offer obeisances and say thank yous, but I cannot take it now, like that. Similarly, he accepted that so that they are pleased. He accepted that gesture of gratitude, offering the seat. And then, but he didn't sit also. He sat on the floor only. And then while Krishna went comfortably, so sat on the bed comfortably, like ordinary person, like that is described. Then Trivikra decorated herself nicely so that she can give pleasure to Krishna in different ways. Then she approached Krishna with playful smiles and covetous glances, like that. Then, in this way, Krishna actually enjoyed with her after she became purified. How she became purified? Notice this one. Simply by smelling the fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet, Trivikra cleansed away the beautiful burning lust Cupid had aroused in her limbs of the body. So basically, Sri Krishna relieved her of her distress, and Krishna purified her just by the smell of fragrance. How Krishna made four Kumaras into devotees from Gnanis, similarly he purified this Trivakra also, like that. Then, so this is an important principle to know. Krishna, Trivakra, just by offering ointment, some simple things with love and devotion, she got the Supreme Lord. Similarly, when we offer things with Supreme Lord with love and devotion, Krishna is not ungrateful. Krishna is very grateful for any service we do. So he will reciprocate immensely for us. So, and she asked Krishna to please stay here for a few more days and enjoy. Then, actually, in the previous purport, he says, the word unfortunate is used here, unfortunate, because Trivakra is trying to ask that, please enjoy it, only me, not other women. But Krishna doesn't want to give that benediction. Krishna is equal to everybody. That's why it's described unfortunate, like that is in that verse. So, Krishna, to fulfill her lusty desires, but also purify her, elevate her, he came to her and satisfied her. So, even if you worship Krishna with mundane desire, Krishna will take care of them. He is not ungrateful, he is grateful for their service. That's another point mentioned in this verse. Then, finally, after he elevated Trivakra and satisfied Trivakra, now Krishna, along with Balaram and Uddhava, goes to Akrura's home. Because Akrura, remember, when he came to Madhura first time, he asked him, can you please come to our home? Balaram, Krishna said, no, we need to take care of some business first and then we'll come to your home. Now he's keeping his promise and is going to Akrura's home. As soon as Akrura sees them, he stands up with great joy. And notice here, he embraced them first. The purport describes, but Krishna and Balram came with a mood of friendship towards Akrura. That's why Akrura first embraced them. And then after giving them seat and everything, then actually worship them. That means he offered obeisances, he offered arti and all that. Like that is described in the next few verses. First, initially he accepted the Krishna's mood. Krishna wants to be a friend, so let me be a friend for a few minutes. But they understand Krishna's greatness, so I offered obeisances and offered worship to him like that. So that is under a nice etiquette. When sometimes the speech master says, sit here, we can either choose to sit close to him or we can say, I'm not qualified. That's also one mood. Okay, accept a mood. And then mood is we can accept speech master mercy like that. No, we cannot do that like that. Not like that. Sometimes speech master might ask something. What do you think about this? Don't say, oh, my speech master, I cannot give you advice. I cannot tell anything. Instead of that, we can also be in that mood that speech master has. We can tell them, uh, here is my thought process. I don't know whether it's right or not. These are my thoughts. Please consider whatever you think is appropriate. Like that, we can place them humbly. Like that, we can learn from Akrura also here. Akrura finally offered nice arti and he massaged Krishna's lotus feet by keeping them in his lap also. Such great fortune he has. And is bowed in humility and he's glorified Krishna, saying that it's a great fortune that you both have killed Kamsa and his followers and you delivered people from suffering. You're actually both supreme lords themselves. You're not ordinary people. And your with your personal energies you create this universe and then enter into it also. Thus no one can pursue you directly unless they hear from authorities, not by direct senses they cannot understand. So like that he glorifies essentially Krishna as the supreme lord, Krishna as the Paramatma, Krishna as the transcendental person above the modes of material nature. And uh, there's no birth for you, there's no bondage for you, no liberation for you. We are seeing you in this way simply because of your desire only. You want to show yourself to us. You actually originally gave Vedas to all of us. You assume one of your incarnations always in the transcendental mode of goodness, not like atheists think that they're one of us like that. You're actually supreme person. Like that, he starts to glorify Krishna and Balram as supreme lords. And let's see, and he says, my home has become most fortunate because you entered it. So, uh, yeah, you are speech master of the universe. Actually, here we also need to can learn one lesson. When saintly personalities come to our home, we also need to feel that gratitude. We have become fortunate by their presence like that. Not that, oh, see, they came to collect some donation, they came to eat some food, not like that. We should feel grateful. They're purifying us by coming home, just by coming home, by speaking, by taking some, accepting something from us. That's a great mercy they're offering to us like that. And then a few more verses only. He says, what learned person would approach anyone but you? Anyone should worship you only because you're so affectionate, you're so grateful, and you are a truthful well-wisher of devotees. So, if somebody worships you in sincere friendship, you reward everything they desire. Even your own very self you give them. You never increase or diminish. Even though you give yourself to them, your position is not getting disturbed. You're still Supreme Lord, like that is telling. And it's all by great fortune you're now visible to us. Otherwise, even Jnanis cannot find you. So, and Sukadeva Goswami finally concludes this chapter. Thus, worshipped and fully glorified by his devotee, Krishna smilingly addresses Akrura, completely charming him with his word. He said, actually, you are our spiritual master. You are our paternal uncle and praiseworthy friend. We're like your sons, depend on your protection, sustenance, and compassion. Exalted souls like you are true objects of service. That means we should serve you. And the most worshipful authorities for those who desire the highest goal in life. But saintly devotees are not concerned about their own interest. They're actually worshipping me like that. Demigods appear in deity form. They're holy places with sacred rivers. But saintly persons like you can purify just by seeing. If somebody get darshan of you, they'll get purified. That's the important thing we need to learn. That's why we should associate with spiritual master, great saintly person, Mahatmas, whenever we get an opportunity. Don't wait, don't think, oh my God, I need to drive to the temple for half an hour, 1 hour. No. Oh my God, the saintly person took 2 more hours to come here. No, we should be eager to wait. Even if they just see us, we'll get purified. And then, actually, you are the best of friends. Krishna is glorifying his pure devotees. And now he places the request before him. Please go to the Hastinapura as the well-wisher of Pandavas and find out how they are doing. We heard that Pandu has passed away and they're under care of Dhritarashtra. So I'm not sure weak-minded Dhritarashtra uh, under the control of his wicked sons. So he may not be treating his brothers sons properly, Pandavas properly. Go and see whether Dhritarashtra is acting properly or not. When we find out, we'll also come there like that. So finally, Sukadeva Goswami concluding chapter saying that after fully instructing Akrura to go to Hastinapur, Krishna went back to his residence accompanied by Lord Sankrishna and Uddhava. So in this chapter, we heard a couple of things. How Krishna purified Trivakra just for the little sincere devotional service he offered. And she satisfied her desires also. One thing we heard. Second thing we heard broadly is because he gave promise to Akrura, he went to Akrura's home and he satisfied him by his presence along with Balaram and Uddhava. And we see how uh, Akrura followed the etiquette properly, following the mood of the superior, Krishna in this case, and then served him nicely. And then he glorified him to glorify his real position as Supreme Lord himself, not just ordinary person like that, as a very merciful master, very truthful master, very grateful master, as a beloved friend for everybody, like that he glorified. That's one thing we learned from Akrura's prayers again. And then finally, Krishna glorified pure devotees' position just by seeing them, because they are so devoted to Krishna, but they're so selfless. So we get so much benefit just by their association like that. Krishna glorified their association like that. And then at the end of the chapter, we heard how Krishna gave order to Akrura to go to Hastinapur to see how Pandavas are doing. Why? Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, is concerned about his devotees, how are Pandavas doing, under the care of Dhritarashtra, who is not very nice because he attached to his children who are wicked. So that's again we see Bhakta Vatsala nature of Krishna. So hopefully you got some inspiration, some appreciation from this section of Bhagavatam, which was wonderful. We talked about 4 chapters today. First chapter was Krishna rescuing his guru's sons from Yamaloka. And second chapter was Uddhava visiting Vrindavana with the message of Krishna. And the Brahmara Gita, the song of the bees. And then finally we heard about Krishna visiting Trivakra and Akrura. I'm so sorry I went over time. I could not manage my time properly. I had so many things more, but thank you for your patience. I appreciate that you could stay all along. If you're okay, only if your time suits, I'd be happy to hear any comments, or if you have any corrections for me, something I spoke wrongly, you can correct. Or if you have some questions, we can discuss. Some of the devotees are very senior also. We can discuss Krishna Katha. Only if you have time. If you're busy, if you need to go, feel free to drop off. I don't feel bad or anything at all. Yeah, but if you have any comments or corrections or questions, let us discuss now. Now this is the time. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments or questions or corrections, anyone? Okay, hope you benefited something from this session today. We'll meet again tomorrow. Some other teacher will meet you tomorrow. I love to meet you some other time again. Yeah, thank you so much for your association. Hare Krishna, everyone. See you. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, upasandubhyeva cha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavibhyo, namo namaha. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.